Shalom, family. It's good to see everybody here. I'm glad you're here. And I know this was not a lot of notice, but there's a few things I want to go over with you because, country music has been such a hot topic out there recently. And I just want to touch on that subject. I want to touch on it. So, actually, country music and the blues, ladies and gentlemen, came about at the same time. They were both part of chattel slavery. If white people were not working on the fields and doing the backbreaking work, and they came up with all kinds of songs. And one of the first was country and the blues. And those two music genres rose together. Well, way more than that. Do y'all know all lullabies came from black women? Every single lullaby that you hear that's been around for a long time, that originated from black women. And it's songs they would sing to their children. Now, white people will tell you, oh, they sung it to our children. No, actually, they sung it to their own children. That's where lullabies came from. So, we're going to talk about country music because Beyonce has been in the news lately for two releases that she did. And unfortunately, we got people that claim they got high IQs and they really don't know anything in terms of music. I'm kind of glad this is happening because we got the usual people claiming to know everything on one hand, but then on the other hand, they're showing us that they know nothing at all when it comes down to where music came from. So let them come out and out themselves. This is exactly what you want. You want them to out themselves. So the only thing I have seen, it don't matter if they are famous or they're a nobody, they seem to be neck and neck as far as their knowledge of music. So we're going to talk about this, and I promise I won't keep you long. I don't want to babble your ears off. Thank you, dark skinned brother, for the super sticker. Thank you. Okay. If anything, we should be fans of every music genre because they all came from us. Don't let other black men and women tell you you can't listen to rock and roll. You sure can. It came from us. You can listen to the blues, you can listen to country, any music genre that came from us. You got every right on this planet to listen to it. And if you want to become an artist under those same different music genres, you have the right to do that. But unfortunately, those that claim they have high IQs and really don't want to dictate what we can do and what we can't do. And they don't realize they wouldn't even have the music if it wasn't for our people being out on those burning hot plantation fields. So, to pass the time away as they work, they sung the blues and they sung country music. That's why both of those music genres have a gospel sound or twist to it. And we know where gospel came from. Gospel came from our people. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with Beyonce crossing over to country because that originated with us. So we're going to talk about that briefly. And the man that you see in black and white, I just want to know, does anybody know who this man is that you see in black and white on this same pic? Does anybody know who this is? Give me a one if you do. Give me a two if you don't know who this is. Yes, we did. And we have every right to like every single music genre. And don't let anybody, regardless to who they are, tell you you can't listen to something. You most certainly can. All right, y'all. The man that you are looking at, and we're going to talk about him, his name is Deford Bailey. Deford Bailey is the first to record a country song in all of America. The first country song ever recorded in the history of America was done by Deford Bailey, a black man. Now you know who he is. Deford Bailey. Now there's something else about this man. There's something else about him. When the Grand Ole Opry opened, Deford Bailey was the first to ever perform at the Grand Ole Opry. Y'all want to hear it again? Deford Bailey was the first performer ever to play at the Grand Ole Opry. And there's a reason why I put the guitar in this picture. The guitar is the creation also of a black man. And the banjo is the creation of the black man. And these instruments are heavily used in country music. Even these white supremacist KKK artists that are on stage with a guitar, they're on stage with a black man's creation. Okay. So, no, I'm like I said, I'm glad this is happening because y'all are really getting a dose of them not knowing what the hell the history is. And this is not unusual. If somebody raised you to believe everything came from you, then there's no need in your psyche to look into anything. Oh, well, they said it came from us. But see, somebody that thinks clearly will say, you know what, let me go and look and see where this really came from. But unfortunately, they are not quite at that level. Just understand that. Now, Deford came out with a song that mimicked the sound of a train. And it was real popular back in those times. Now, he was born in 1899. So never forget when they come and tell you country music came from white people, then that's impossible. Then if it came from white people, there's no way they would have let the first recording of a country song be a black man. All right. They know where it came from, y'all. And he is a big part of the Grand Ole Opry. They dedicate a big segment over there to him. So they know who the black artists are. They can play all brand new and everything, you know, because I know when I was talking about this before, this was a few years back, a lot of our people thought Charlie Pride was the first black artist. He wasn't. He wasn't at all. Dark Skin Brother, thank you for the super chat. They will be saying our fathers have inherited lies in the end. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. All right. So I want to get into this. Let me get rid of what I have on the screen. Just get what I need. No, not you. Okay. Now, there's one thing I do want to say about slavery, y'all. All right. Now, here's what I would like to say about slavery. Slavery was a horrendous thing that occurred to our forefathers. And, remnants of it still lives on today. But one thing I can say is a lot of greatness also came from slavery. And what I mean is the inventions that came out. And don't let these folks tell you inventions came from them. It wouldn't even make sense for inventions to come from the people that weren't doing the work. It would make sense for the inventions to come from the people that were doing the work because they were trying to look for an efficient way to do the same work and also do it quicker. So, why would the people that were sitting around doing nothing come up with all of the inventions? It doesn't make sense that it would come from them. It would make plenty of sense that it came from the ones that were out there doing the work. All right. And as far as music, what else did the slaves have other than back-breaking work? And they sung the songs to, help pass the time and did what they had to do to survive through it. So never let them tell you you didn't come up with anything. If we didn't come up with anything, America would not be half as efficient as it is now. And one thing, y'all, when we come up with a music genre, it lives on forever. Now, just think country music and the blues both came off of the plantation field, and those music genres live on strong even to this very day. Okay. Anything we put out, it's got lasting power, it's got longevity. Never forget that. Never, ever forget that. All right. So we're going to talk a little more about um, Deford Bailey. And it's a shame that we let this man live all this time and we didn't know very much about him. And I think that's a shame. And we got to do a better job at learning who our historians are among our people. We need to learn this so that we can pass it on. We can't depend on people that hate us to pass on the things that we should know among each other. So, everybody, this is Deford Bailey, Grand Ole Opry's first musician and first artist to record in Nashville. Okay. He was the first country music song ever recorded. And he died in 2019. And we should have known who this man was. We really should. But because history, especially ours, is so lackadaisical in America for obvious reasons, we did not get to know and love this man like he should have been loved and admired by us. So let's get into him and what he was all about. So he died at 82. And he, like I said, he was the first to play at the Grand Ole Opry, the first to record a country song. Now, he died, and unfortunately, a pretty tragic death, too. So he suffered from kidney, heart failure, and he had congested lungs. So before he had passed on, Bailey was released to the hospital, and then, he was taken home where he finally passed on. He had a daughter. Her name was Christine Bailey Craig, and she was there. She said he was such a beautiful man. Now, he was also sick as a child, y'all. In fact, when he was an infant, he had developed paralysis. And Deford was not a very big man. He was only 5 feet tall and he weighed 100 pounds. And they said the reason why was because of what happened to him as an infant when he became paralyzed. So, his daughter said he always loved dressing up in three-piece suits and he loved shiny shoes. So he wanted to always look his best when he could. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's like anything else. When we do something, it gets minimized or people try to deny that we do it. And you even see that going on with hip hop today. You see a lot of other groups that really weren't there try to claim they are also creators of that, and they're not. But you're seeing how stealing something away from the Black community is really truly done. You know, you'll get all of these random people coming out of nowhere claiming something is theirs, and they do what they always do. They claim it's theirs and then never prove a thing. And that's the same thing with country music. You got all these white people claiming it's theirs and they don't prove nothing. It's just I'm white and I say so. So so there was a Saturday night barn dance program, and in December of 1927 they had announced this musician that took his harmonica and would sound like a train. Well, that person was Deford Bailey. And back then, they had the Grand Old Opry, but people would, that weren't there would tune in on the radio. And Deford was the one that played that harmonica, and he played something called Pan American Blues. All right. And it sounds like a fast moving freight train. Actually, you can hear the recording on YouTube. I wish I could have gotten it for you, but I could not, um, for copyright purposes, I could not play it, you know. And but you are free to go out and listen to Deford Bailey's music. So Mr. Bailey made records in Atlanta and New York. And when RCA Victor came to Nashville to look for country artists in 1928, he cut 8 sides for Victor, the first sessions ever in Nashville. Two achievement landmarks in the history of country music are made even more remarkable by the fact that Mr. Bailey was Black. He was born in 1899 in Smith County. At the age of 3, he became he had infantile paralysis, which stunted his growth. So he was about 5 feet tall and he weighed about 100 pounds. And he had a deformed chest cavity because of it. Everyone in his family were musicians. They played what was called old-timey black hillbilly music that had one foot in the blues and the other foot in country. Mr. Bailey learned to play the harmonica while bedridden as a child. So when he was sick as a child, he laid in bed and just kept blowing on that harmonica until he mastered it. Growing up, he worked for the Watson family in Thompson Station, and he moved to Nashville in 1918. In December of 1925, he entered the French harp contest. So he played multiple instruments, ladies and gentlemen. And he did that on the radio at WDAD. And he finished in second place. So Mr. Humphrey Bate, a physician who led the first country band on plan at WSM, brought Mr. Bailey to the attention of Judge Hay. The harmonica player became a star on the Saturday night program. In 1928, the first full year of the Grand Ole Opry, Mr. Bailey played on 49 of 52 shows. Did y'all hear that? He was on the majority of the Grand Ole Opry shows. So they played 52 shows. Out of 52 shows, he performed 49 times. 20 more appearance than most artists that frequent the Grand Ole Opry. So he performed and had more shine on the Grand Ole Opry back in those times than any other artist. Any other artist. Okay, so he also went on the road and performed, you know, and he worked for several years as an artist, you know, so he became very popular on the Grand Ole Opry. So he was literally there until he was dismissed. You know how these folks are. You know, once they get finished using you up, then you're dismissed. So he got dismissed from the Grand Ole Opry in 1941. So he took up working as a shoe shine parlor, and he had opened with his uncle's 8 years earlier, and he rarely played for anyone except for friends, you know, once he was no longer at the Grand Ole Opry. In 1968, he moved into I.W. Gernardt's home, not far from his shoe shine stand, and he did projects all the way up until 1971. He appeared on the Opry again in 1974 at the Old Timer Show, just before the Opry left with Ryman Auditorium to move to its present home in Opryland. So it was at a different location then, but that's not unusual. He played at the new Opry House on his 75th birthday, and that was in December 1974. On stage, Mr. Bailey appeared to be saving his breath until he played. They said, you know, he didn't talk or did anything. He tried to really conserve his energy until he went out on the stage to play. And when he played on his 75th birthday, he played the Pan American Blues and Fox Chase. So Mr. Bailey made his last performance on the Grand Ole Opry stage in April 3rd, 1982. So good for him. What a career. What a career. You know, for somebody to come out like that, to be the first in country music, and you performed all the way up until 1982 and was able to do so, that is amazing. That is amazing, y'all. It really, truly is. Oops, sorry about that. Want that to play. I hate this. Okay. Okay. So let me just get this pick back up, which brings me to Beyonce. Um, Now, one thing, I normally don't do a lot of defending of Beyonce, but when it comes down to country music, I think it is definitely worth defending. Now, she came out with two country songs, 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em. And they were just released around the time of the Super Bowl. And, immediately you had country music stations refusing to play it. See, me, I'm one of these people, don't get mad, get even, right? So if they don't want to play her music, this is what I would say. Now, you whether you think it's right or wrong, this is my opinion and it's mine to have. Since they want to be like that, when white artists come out with R&B or rap, don't play their music. See, me, I that's what I would do. I wouldn't be fighting to get it on. Okay, well, you don't want to play it. Okay, but when your artists come out with stuff, I'm not going to play it on our stations. We can play that game. You want to play that game? We'll play that game. So, that's what I would have done. I'm telling you, that's what I would have done. But I saw some of the music stations like in Oklahoma. I think there was one in Oklahoma. The Beehive, Beyonce's fan base, the Beehives, they called and I guess they hassled the radio station so much that they're now playing her music. It's ridiculous. So you're saying even these are her forefathers where this country music came out of. So you're saying that she can't sing a genre that came directly from her forefathers? No, they don't get to dictate that to us. They don't get to dictate that to us about any music, as far as I'm concerned. You know, so but I'm a different person and I would play ball in a whole different manner from these folks out here. I'm sorry, I wouldn't beg them. Okay, you don't want to play it? Okay, well then next time somebody come out with something from your side, I'm not playing it over here. That's what I would do. But you know me. You know me. I can be petty at times, I admit it. So, she released two singles and it's getting a lot of attention. It really is. And it is because number one, it's Beyonce. Let's be real. She's probably the biggest artist, not only in this country, probably worldwide right now. She is absolutely the biggest. And so anything that she puts out at this point, people are going to pay attention. Whether you like her or not, people are going to pay attention. And they are. And the thing I like that I'm seeing a lot of our people are starting to look into the history. And I have seen many videos from our brothers and sisters coming out about country music being ours, coming from our forefathers. And I'm glad I'm seeing that. I am very glad I'm seeing that. But other groups of people claiming things that we did is, y'all, that's just a way of life in America. Is it right? No, hell no, it's not right. But it's up to us to open our mouth and speak out about it when those things happen. So that's all I wanted to go over today with you, ladies and gentlemen. If nothing else, I hope you learned something today from this. And if you are the kind of person that already knew this information, make sure you are passing it on to other people in our community. Because if you're going to teach your kids Black history, start here. Start with the music. Our children love music. They love, learning songs and everything. Start here. Start with the music and start showing them how all of it originated from us. So, everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day. If you're in my Bible study, I will have that up within the next hour, and I will see you later on today. Shalom, family.